Hey, good morning, folks. Monday morning here in Silverton, Oregon. Weather's kind of blustery spring, rainy stuff. We've been having a wet spring here in Oregon, but that's a good thing for us. Water for fish and all that. I'm in the shop today, and I'm prepping pre-fiberglass components for the under floor portion of the boat. So let me just walk you through a few things here that I'm doing. So these are the secondary stringers out of 3/4 inch plywood that will go under the raised floor of the back of the boat. I actually went with 10 ounce because that's what I had, 10 ounce cloth. It's got 1 coat of fiber resin on the wood, 2 on the fiberglass. I'll do 1 more once after I install it. Right now I'm taking my random orbital sander and cutting the excess fiberglass off the edge. So if you've done this before, you know how it works. You just run the sander along the edge and it cuts the excess cloth right off. So I'm going to be preparing both sides, and I'm going to wipe it down and prep it for the next batch of epoxy. Over here I've got the lower part of the bulkhead for the rear cabin. So these are all glued up and laminated. 3 coats on the outside on one side, 2 coats on the other, just because I had some extra epoxy, so I threw it on. So I'll be trimming those down nice and neat. I've got the rear transom here, which is now fully fiberglass, kind of the secondary transom. It's just hanging out waiting for installation. I've adapted some of my fiberglass techniques a little bit over time. You know, I've got my sticky stuff dispenser here, which some of you guys use, and I really liked it for small amounts. But it does take some maintenance, and occasionally it just kind of clogs up. It takes a little bit of work, and then you have to dump everything out and run acetone and stuff through it. And since I've now had to move to these gallon jugs, it's really pretty easy, as long as when you're working with 12 ounces or so, just to pour directly from the jug into measured cups and then mix it. I have been looking for a good cheap source of rollers that work well for this, and I've landed on these 1/4 inch, probably 3/8 is a little bit better, but 1/4 inch smooth surface woven microfiber is really working the best. They're disposable. There's no way to clean them, so you throw them out after each use. And whether it's 3 inch, 4 inch, or 6 inch, for this kind of work, the 3 and the 4 inch are totally adequate. It doesn't save you any time to go bigger, and it just costs more money. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. I had to order a new batch of fiberglass once I calculated out the square footage of the decking. God, that's quite a bit of fiberglass on top and on the bottom. So I ordered a bunch of 6 ounce and 10 ounce. So that might slow me down for a week of doing some of the fiberglassing on the flooring, but got to get it, and that'll just give me time to focus on sanding and prepping in the cabin, in the berth of the boat, and cutting plywood for the tank bulkheads so I can isolate the tanks. This is the current state of the inside of my boat. I've got the secondary stringers in place. Most of them are glued down. I'm going to have to do a trip and get more 1/2 inch plywood to do the actual flooring, which means I am working ahead on the bulkhead, but that's okay. It'll make it easier to move quickly when I get the flooring done and want to put the bulkheads on. Yeah, so this is the chart that you'll spend a lot of time on when you get to building that back bulkhead, because there's a lot of real critical measurements here. I went into the main garage where I had some clearing floor space and laid down 2 full sheets of 1/2 inch plywood and started drawing, measuring and drawing, and this is what I came up with. Yeah, it's a little hard to see, but you get down here, marked in all the windows, the door, laid down the sawhorses, and now I'm cutting it, and I've got one side done, and that's what it looks like. I don't know what took me so long to do this, but I made a template here. I've got a 2 inch diameter rounded corner on one, 3 inch on the other, so when I'm laying out these shapes, I can get them as accurate as possible. Well, I've made good progress this week. I have a back bulkhead. Looks pretty good. It's not installed really. It's dry fit, and it does fit. I'm temporarily mounting the sides so I can get those cut out. I'm gonna have to pull all this out in order to finish the flooring. I need to put more floor supports and some other things down. I'm gonna cut off early today. It's Friday, 3:30, 3:35, and go in and start thinking about wiring and plumbing. The good thing about the process is I've got a lot of stuff cut and ready to glue and secure. So I'm probably next week it's just gonna be glue party. I'm gonna go through gallons of epoxy. But gosh, a lot of stuff fit together and it really looks even more and more like a Great Alaska. Not just a boat now, it's looking like a Great Alaska. It's cool.